All right, well, let's talk about train tickets now.
Yep.
So what's this new change? What's this major change?
It's a trial. It's a
Okay.
trial. London to Scotland, London to Sheffield type routes and a few others. What they're going to do, first of all, is they're going to try and give you the cheapest fare when you book. I know, isn't that nice of them? When you ask them what the cheapest price is, they're actually going to start trying to give it you. How lovely. We should all applaud them for this wonderful behaviour, shouldn't we? And one of the things they're going to do is they're going to do what's called airline-style prices. So if you book a ticket to two places and you're changing train, they will look at, is it cheaper to give you a ticket to the first stop and a ticket from the change onwards? Now, my criticism of that is there's a thing called split ticketing that I've been talking about for years. And it's a bit complex, but this won't be included. So let's go through the best example I've ever heard. I'll give you the big one. It's not available now, but I'll give you the big one. London to Penzance, return 250 quid. Mm-hmm. The train stops in Plymouth. It doesn't change. It stops in Plymouth. If you bought a ticket from London to Plymouth, Plymouth to Penzance, Penzance back to Plymouth and Plymouth back to London, so 4 tickets instead of a return, £50.
It's 50 quid, or you say 50 quid?
50 quid. That's the best split ticket I've ever seen. Right, last Friday I checked one, Durham to London, £131. It stops at Peterborough. Doesn't change at Peterborough, it stops at Peterborough. £97 if you buy London, Peterborough, Peterborough, Durham, Durham, Peterborough, Peterborough, back to London. In fact, if I really want it, and this is not to scare anyone, and there are tools out there that will do these split tickets for you. This, a man from Newcastle to Oxford. Instead of buying Newcastle to Oxford, 1 ticket, 28 tickets returned by splitting all the way across the journey, saved him £30. So, the ticketing system...
All that for 30 quid?
And a load
I agree,
of trees.
and I'm not saying do that, but what I am saying is it shows the farcical nature, and even under this new trial, when you ask it for the cheapest ticket, you will not get the split ticket cheapest, and in many cases,
So still
split
bear
ticket
that
is
in mind.
cheapest.
So
And it
bear that in
changes
mind.
per journey. It's not the same route every time. It's not the same train. The train the next hour can be different. That is the bonkers nature of train ticketing that we have in this country. It's an outrage.
Book up front.
12 weeks. Right. Cheap advances, everybody knows that
Yeah.
advances are cheaper and you've got super... Thank you for clearing it.
I can't bear it.
I'm sorry. I quite like the throwing, though. Cheap advances, they tend to be launched 12 weeks in advance. So if you want to bag the cheapest ticket, 12 weeks before you're travelling is the perfect time. But you know what? If it's more than 8 weeks, you'll get a cheap deal. Next, make sure you've got the relevant rail card. I'll run you through them. Friends and family rail card. So that's you and up to 3 adults travelling with you. Get a third off your rail fare as long as you're travelling with between 1 to 4 children, and they get 60%. And they get 60% off. So
Okay.
massive savings.
Great.
And right now, if you use the code FAM17S on the rail card, MS, good point. On the railcard website, you get it for £24 instead of £30. Those details are on the
Code
website.
again?
FAM17MS. But the details are on the website, so check that. And I did that in my Friday deals on here. There's also the Two Together website, not many people know about because it's quite a new one. 2 people travelling together. If you travel together commonly, whether that's your husband or your wife or the person you go to the football with, if you go to the football, so you could have one with both of those. So there's the senior rail card, the 16 to 25, the disabled person rail card, and if you live in the southeast of England or southern England, the network rail card. Next one, I said booking early is good, but you can book early late.
Oh.
That doesn't make any sense.
OK, so most people think you have to get cheap advances a long time in advance, but this is what happens. A train will have a certain number of advance tickets.
Yeah.
And if they're not sold out...
You can still get them.
On cross-country rail, 15 minutes before you travel. On most train companies, it's sort of either 11:59 p.m. the night before or 6 p.m. the day before. So lots of people know they're travelling tomorrow. They don't bother checking to get an advance. I'll pick it up at the station.
I didn't know that.
Check if you can get an advance. Just one thing, train delays. If your train's delayed over 30 minutes generally, it's not a set rule. You're entitled to 50% compensation these days in cash. Make sure you fill in a form or fill it in online.
True?
Yeah. It differs with every rail company. So if it's over 30 minutes, you should definitely check. You probably will be due, and you'll probably be due 50% of your money back in cash. But I'm not quite saying you will always be due. But definitely over 30 minutes late, you should be checking. Season tickets, it depends on the firm exactly how they operate. And also, if you've Southern Rail and you've been suffering really big disputes on that and lots of people delayed on that, there was a man who got half his season ticket money back from his credit card company. I have mentioned it before. I'll put the details about that on the website. So if you're a Southern Rail customer. But yeah, so... push your rights. If they're late, you've got rights.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much indeed,
Very
Martin.
good.
Right, let's have a look at your local weather forecast.